America's never going to pay its debts. It doesn't have to. Its debts are in its own currency. We can simply print it. The African debt is not in its currency. The African debt is in U.S. dollars. Africa has to earn the U.S. dollars, and the only way it can earn the U.S. dollars is not to be assassinated for growing its own food and becoming independent and doing something that the United States does not like. The principle underlying the foundation of the World Bank is that no country should grow its own food. Africa and the Third World should only grow export crops. To export, in order to have an oversupply of cocoa and other tropical raw materials, to keep down the price, they must buy their grain from the United States or Europe, so that if they do something that we don't like, we can do what America tried to do to China in the 60s. We can sanction them. We can say, we're going to starve you. We're going to not export any grain to you. So owing their foreign debt in dollars means that they have to somehow sell something that the United States wants, not what they want. I think the most evil organizations in the world today are the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund.
So there you have it. This gentleman here is talking about the World Bank and the IMF. And he's saying those are the most evil organizations that he knows. Well, that's a very strong statement, but we have to agree because basically America has positioned itself to be the trump card. They call the shots. They print the money. They loan out the debt, and they just print out more money when they need it. But in order for these countries to be able to get these US dollars and operate as a sovereign state, America sits and chooses and picks which goods, which raw materials, which natural resources they need from that particular part of the world, and say, you have to export us this. In exchange, we'll print more money and give it to you as a loan. You got to pay back to us. So basically, they got the keys to the kingdom. This is global totalitarianism on the highest level. People don't know this. People don't see this, but it is what it is. You just gotta call a spade a spade. And with that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. Getting straight into it, we're taking a look at the charts. We're going to be looking at the total crypto market capitalization. At the current time it's recording, we're sitting right above $1 trillion. Let's zoom into the price action to see what we see. And as you see, the crypto market cap went all the way up November of 2021, all the way up to this level here, around that $3 trillion price mark. And since then, what have we did? We've made these impulsive waves. We had wave 1, we came back up and retested this. Wave 2, we fell all the way down. This was like that big FTX / Celsius / 3 arrows, all of the above just crashing out. And right here it was 4, and then there was 5. That was our 5-wave reversal. And look what just happened. We had this downtrend, this green line. We had this macro downtrend, and we came up and broke out of this. And once we break out of this, we retested it, and now it's off to the races. So how high can Bitcoin go? Well, if you take out your fib extensions and see where the technical target is, looking at that 1.618, you can see pulling back up to the previous all-time high from the low. How high could Bitcoin go? Technical target is that the overall crypto market capitalization could at least go to $7.2 trillion. Are we going to go higher? We could wick past this. We could go up to the 2.618, a lot of other Fibonacci levels that we could hit. But all in all, 1.618 is sort of that sweet spot. And looking at none your business, many have mentioned that a 77% decline in price is insufficient to make a bottom, and we need to make at least 85%. Is the decline of the 200 daily moving average from its all-time high more convincing of a bottom? What do you think? Well, let's take a look at this chart. You see that this is not the Bitcoin price. This is the 200 moving average. Taking a look here, you see the all-time highs on every single peak. Around the Bitcoin price peaks, But what happens after that? You have a 50% correction, a 63% correction, 58% correction, all-time high, 61% correction. So if you see all these figures here, they're all within the range 50 to 63. We went down 61. That's on a low end. So this definitely could be the bottom. So definitely keep this in mind. From Bit Harrington, he's found definitely a good fractal you want to pay attention to. After the all-time highs, you see here that we came down and then bounced right off this moving average, came up, and then the 2 actually broke through it and tried to retest, but then fell down. The 3 came back up to test again, and ultimately fell down. 4, we broke out, but didn't go higher than that previous all-time high. Note that. So we come back down, bounce off this. The 2 actually broke through it, came down. The 3 retested, and look where we are right now. So if history's any indication of what's to come, we're going to blast through this moving average level and not go back up to this previous $69,000 peak, but maybe get 10, 20, 30% away. So all in all, the fractal definitely looks extremely bullish. And we still have adoption, even though we've had a lot of price suppression, a lot of downwards price action. There's a pro-Bitcoin U.S. congressman that's introducing a bill to prohibit the Fed from using a CBDC, central bank digital currency, to control the entire economy. Despite all the negativity, all the downwards price action, adoption still occurring, and there's still a lot of backing in our governing body for Bitcoin. Another update, we're going to leave you with this before we go into our clip. You don't want to miss that, so make sure you watch this to the end. I'm seeing big Twitter accounts who were so bearish in Q4 of 2022 starting to shill S-coins and talk about parabolic rally in crypto. What's wrong with you people? Can't you recognize the scammer? Some of these YouTubers, they get paid to shill S-coins. The Bitcoin bros aren't one of them. We've been telling you that you should be dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin because they're not out the woods yet. Looking at the Bitcoin dominance, we've showed you this in previous videos. It's better to be in Bitcoin than alts right now because alts are going to bleed more against Bitcoin, but alts will have their rally again. They will have their day, pending no crazy regulation. But what he's saying here, he's calling for this green dot. Look at this green dot. Every time the green dot pulls out or gets called out at this bottom, the price action reacts and goes to the upside every single time. Every single time. Look right here. We're getting ready to go for that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leg to the upside. Over $100,000 Bitcoin price target. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now are optimal buying opportunities because this is definitely within the next year or two, you're going to look back and wish you bought these prices. So with that, we'll leave you with Max Keiser. And what Max is talking about in this clip is he's talking about the Ponzi scheme, the dollar. And he's talking about how far can they kick the can down the road and why the Bitcoin standard could be right around the corner. And as you know, Max is a huge advocate of Bitcoin. We've been following Max for quite some time. And he's saying the same thing a lot of other Bitcoin evangelists are saying, is that Bitcoin is going to be the standard and is the perfect money.
It is the end game of a Ponzi scheme. So the COVID lockdown triggered a massive layer on top of the Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme works because you have to keep printing more money to pay off the investors who were early in the Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
And so when you hit the COVID crisis and there was a slowdown in international trade and you had a potential slowdown in the economy, that would have triggered a collapse of the Ponzi scheme. You remember Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme collapsed because in 2008 there was a massive drawdown in the stock market, and it revealed the fact that he was a Ponzi operator. He was a fraudster that had been going on for a long time. So in the COVID crisis, there was a drawdown, there was a slowdown, which was revealing like the tide going out. Suddenly, as Warren Buffett would say, everyone's naked. And, oh, my God, there's a Ponzi. So to respond to that, they had to engage in such a massive quantitative easing like money printing, that money supply, 40%, money supply increased 40% in a year, right? I think that's the most shocking increase ever, probably in history of any country ever, in the sheer numbers of it. And the results are complete malinvestment, complete kind of wealth and income gap, because it wasn't distributed in any way that was in any that as Bukele points out, there's plenty of money if you don't steal. Well, when they did that massive bailout during the COVID, there was a massive fraud, massive stealing. The PPP loan program was a massive fraudulent program. And you and I were watching all this unfold. And yes, it resulted in, now we have this incipient inflation problem, and it's just rolling on top of each other.
And there you have it from Max. And he's sitting there telling you the current state of affairs in the U.S. economy today. We have the inflation problem. We had the extreme money printing and the fraud. Was the fraud orchestrated? Was this fraud orchestrated so the money could be printed out to line the pockets of politicians? Were those politicians buying Bitcoin knowing what's coming for the US dollar? There's a lot of speculation that could be had, but all in all, Max has a point, and he understands that Bitcoin is that perfect money. It's not controlled by any central entity. It's scarce, it's immutable, and nobody can stop it. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.